Well, I think we're about ready for another video on this. And so I got some more stuff today in the mail I'm going to show you. And we'll take a look at that right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, Ross the Oliver Man. This is the ultra rare high crop 600 Oliver made by David Brown. So far it is the only one known to exist. None of the others have come out of the woodwork, if there are any. And as you may recall, we've been doing things like gathering parts. And I need to be picking up my stuff because it's getting knocked all over the place. But we've been working on seats, and you know, we had this rickety seat that was about rusted in two. We've been working on that one. I thought I had it ready to paint, and then I wasn't happy with it yet, so I gave it one more coating of stuff. I'm going to sand that off and then prime it one more time, and then I think it's ready for final painting, and it's just going to be whatever it's going to be because I'm getting too particular on that. But today, friends, something super cool came, and we're going to try it out and see. Well, actually, several things came in this box. Let's not knock it all over. One of them is taped in this bag. Oh, goodness. I better... Let's set that on the ground. Come on. Come on. So much bubble wrapping. Look at this. This is the Oliver emblem for inside of there. Let's compare that. I don't know, that might be a weird camera angle, but let's compare that to the David Brown emblem. They are the same size physically, so that's good to know. I wasn't sure, but that will go in there from the back side, and then this bar holds it forward. But we got to do some custom fab here because it's all mangled up. But that will be sweet when we get that on there. And I might as well leave you right where you are stuck for this next piece, if I can get this out of here. It's very nicely wrapped by Mrs. Nelson. And this will be the last one that's available, I guess, because the rest of them are probably going to sell on the auction that he's having in a few weeks, which unfortunately I can't go to because there's something else in the works. I just can't. But this, friends, should fit in here if I don't have the wires hanging in the way. And I'm not exactly sure how. I'm going to have to look up on the other one. Well, the other one's kind of messed up too, but I'm wondering, I bet there was a little doogie that's supposed to be on this, and it didn't come with that. Because it's got threads here, like you see. And I bet you there was a little watch-a-me that's supposed to stick on there. Let me do a quick perusal here of what came, because there's stuff taped everywhere. There is nothing there. And I know the 500 is not right because it was all mangled, and I straightened it, and then just like 500 grill, long sides. Okay. I don't know about this either. I assume that this goes like stuck to the back of this. But I'm going to have to find out about whatever kind of little shebang is supposed to go on there. And then of course you can see how caved in this is. We're going to have to do some custom work there. If I can't get it where I'm satisfied that it's not going to fall away, I guess what I'm going to have to do is like self-tapper it in, and I hate that, but I don't want to lose this piece because this was $400, friends. It's not for the faint of heart. But this is all primed up and ready to paint, so I'll probably give it some Clover white paint and it'll be good to go. But we're going to have to pull this grill off of the tractor, or the hood rather, because this is all one piece. And we're going to have to, actually, I might be able to just strong arm it back into shape a little bit. But I can see that it's just not quite right. And I might have to make something to help pull it the different ways. This piece needs to be rolled out a little bit more. Maybe if I have it out, I can get behind it and push it. It is more straight than the one that was on the 500. And like I said, I know he had these made too, but they are spot welded to the hood, and I'd rather just straighten this one than try to do any kind of whatever. I don't know what that's doing in there. If that was something they put on when they strapped it to help hold it. But like this should be pulled out, and that might be better done when I do the hammering shebang, like from the back side. I don't know. But I have this now, so that was the most important thing, was getting this locked down where I actually had what I needed, so that when the time comes, I can put that on there for keeps, and that'll look just cute as a button, friends. Somebody else has screwed through here and, you know, tried to have some screen across there probably, and that ain't gonna work for us, so we're gonna have to. I hear somebody here, so I guess I gotta quit what I'm doing again. Today has been unusually ridiculous with me not being able to do anything that I set out to do. Everything has went crazy, and I have to keep dropping what I'm doing to do something else. So I guess that's what I'll do right now, and then I'll come back to this. All right, I've been messing with this a little bit, just kind of pulling on it. It still needs to be taken off where I can get to the back side and maybe even stand on it in places. But I got it where it fits up pretty darn snazzy. And there's a little gappage like at the bottom here. I don't know that I can even physically get that much out of there, because it's, I don't know. I don't know if it's really bent that far off or if that's just the way that it is. But I definitely need to get the, I got a caller about that little doohickey, whatever it is. I don't know what it even looks like, because I bet you the other one doesn't have one at all. The other one's got 2 self-tapper screws on each side holding it tight to the tractor because it was a little bit mangled. But yeah, I think that's going to be cool. That emblem will go in here. I need to get to the back side and make this a little bit better. There's a few places on it where it needs a little bit of welding done just to make it the best that it could be. And there's some other bodywork sins that need addressed. Is that a crack or a scratch? That's a scratch. So we'll get all that kind of stuff done. And don't get attached to this paint, because people were like, oh, you just flitzed that up. Well, that's not the right paint. That's a crappy coat of paint over top of the green paint. Here you can see the green paint has come through. The blue paint wore totally off. Wherever they spilled fuel, probably. You know, there's some green paint. But I don't think that, in my experience, the tractors that were made overseas did not get the best paint jobs before they came here. And so there's not a lot left to polish on. If you polish too aggressively, it goes away. The Fiats are really bad. You can see behind me, Exhibit A. I've painted a lot of pieces on this, like the hood has been painted. This top part's been painted. But there are places on it where when you start getting too aggressive, you actually wear through the green to the next layer down. There's a good example. All that white spotting is where the green is wore through and you're going through to the next layer. There's a bad place of it. You can't polish that out. It's already been polished too hard. So it's a two-edged sword on polishing paint. I mean, it would be nice if this was original paint, but it's just not. It's worthy of getting repainted. Is it going to get showroom quality repainted? Probably not, because I don't have time for that and whatever. I want this thing looking nice where I can use it, and you can enjoy it on YouTube. And someday, if I'm dead and you buy it, you can do whatever you want with it. You can paint it all up and shove it in some museum where it'll never get seen, you know, again, or out in the field, because that's what happens to a lot of that stuff. It gets fixed up and shoved away and never sees the light of day again. And a lot of that stuff in museums doesn't even run. So I kind of like to enjoy them and use them for what they were made for. So that's what I'm going to do. But it's a long process, friends. It's not a, I don't have time to dedicate 100% to this. I've got something else I really should be doing right now, but this is kind of like my therapy, you see, to piddle with the stuff that I want to. So let's go look at this seat and see how bad I did. Now, I don't know that I should tell you what happened here, but I had it all ready to go this morning, and I thought it was ready for white paint because it was looking beautiful. And I sanded it all over. Then I proceeded to drop it, and I put a gouge in the thing. And so I sanded on that, and then I wasn't satisfied with a whole lot of it, and I started doing stuff, and now we're back at this point again. So this is the time when I'm going to sand this one more time, prime it one more time, and then tomorrow I'm going to paint it no matter what, because I can't keep doing that. I'm going to be forever stuck at this level. So I don't know. I'm not exactly happy with what I'm seeing now. But like I said, you got to pick a point, and then you got to say, that's all. And I think we're there. Are there places that are not as good as they could be? Very probably. But does it matter? Probably not. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to give this a shot of gray primer. I think the inside is done. I pretty well accepted that fact. If you can see that, I don't know. Cushions will cover all of that, so it doesn't have to be quite as precise, although I still would rather it be smooth. So that's pretty darn good. There's a couple little places where I think it could have been better, but it's going away now, where it can't hurt us anymore. See that? All better. All better. No one will ever know that this was done by a dummy. Probably should have cleaned all that up better, but I didn't. I had it all cleaned up this morning, and then you see where that got me. So I'm just gonna tomorrow morning I will sand that one more time just to rough it up a little, and then we're gonna make it happen. All right, let's check out how our seat turned out. Ooh, I think it turned out pretty good. Let's fit it up here. We'll still need to get some cotter pins in there, but come on. I'm obviously not in the right spot. There we go. Yeah. There. That'll be nice, but we're not done yet. We're gonna put the cushions on and make it look complete. All right. I'm running out of hands here. I don't know what to do with this other cushion until I'm ready for it. All right, this goes in. I think this has to snap on this first. Not real sure why. That didn't stay snapped. I guess it probably won't stay snapped. That's fine. So those little cord things go through those slots, in case that's not clear how that's going. And that's what holds it down in there. So you gotta pull these through and then button them. But something's not right. It probably needs a big boy like me sitting in it to smush it out flat to make it everything it needs to be. Because right now it's not quite down in there as like I think it should be, but and then the next thing we got to do. Ooh, this is different. Oh no, it's zipped in there. So the way this works, it's kind of tricky, I guess you'd say. But you gotta have this seat back piece, and you gotta have your bolts with wing nuts. And what we gotta do, well, first is unwrap this out of the multi-layer plastic. And I don't remember, I guess I could look at the old one, which way this goes. I'm pretty sure the rounded edge goes up. So it'll be in there like this. And that's the underneath. So we got to unzip this. We got to get this plate in there. And the bolts will have to get in there. So it'll be a trick, friends. But it works, because I've done this before. And this seat cushion, I don't know who's responsible for making this versus the last one that I got. But this one actually appears like they cut an adequate amount of slotting. That other one, I had to really poke holes through the stuff, which you'll get to see when I do the Fiat seat on that 1250, because I think it's that way. But this will go in there like such, and then these will go in there like such. And like I said, it may take a good fat man scrunching of me sitting on it to get it exactly where I think it should be, because it's pretty well, I don't know what I want to say. It's not what it should be yet, like the bottom cushion. I think it could be a little bit more in there, but it looks okay. All right, that is going to be snazzy. a lot more comfortable to sit on and solidly attached to the tractor, so it does not leave us for dead somewhere. I think that tire is going down. I'm gonna have to air it up. I don't know what the deal is there. All right, so this came today, and one thing that's apparent is those Italians must not be as heavy as the rest of the Europeans, because you can see the difference in thickness of padding, you know. And this has it uses that buckle system, like the other one had snaps. And so basically, we should just be able to feed that through a couple of those holes, and it's going to hold that pad down. In theory, will it work that way? I don't know. But we're going to give it a shot. We need to probably look at this so we can figure out how that works, because I'm not the smartest on that. It's like they fed it through, you feed it through both loops and then go back through one. See if I can translate that to upside downness, because that's going to make it increasingly more difficult. That doesn't look right either, does it? Oh yeah, it is. Alright. Through both loops. Through both loops. Ooh, this is actually kind of it's going to be kind of difficult, because I don't know how I'm going to get I definitely can't get you in on it, or I won't be able to do what I'm doing. But let's see if, there we go. Alright. Yeah, that ain't very pretty, but it'll work. Now here's the thing, friends. This seat back, I think it needs a metal piece in it, like that other one had, to hit these two holes, you know, with like a square jobby. And I have never seen one on one of these. Like, I've never had the piece. I wonder if that 1250 has the piece. I don't know. The 1250A, I mean, what I'm thinking about. So, my next wonderings is that David Brown, the old seat, had a metal piece. I wonder if the hole spacing would actually be the same, and I could use that piece on here. Nothing like recycling, friends. I don't think so. How scientific can we be? It's close, but no cigar. It's off by just a little. So anywho, if we want to finish this one, I'm going to have to get me a piece of metal. I mean, I guess I could just bolt through this cloth, but it's not going to stay if I do that. But if I was to get a piece of metal and make a couple bolt holes in it, and then slip this over the piece of metal and poke the two holes through the corresponding thing, then I could draw that up tight as such, and then life would be grand for us. I'll have to look in the parts book, but I don't know. I don't know if this is, you know, that's just what it needs to be. And then that will complete this particular project there on that. So, and I'm still waiting on bolts for there, so can't drive it anyway, so doesn't matter. But now we will jump back over here, and I think what I would like to try to do, well, I did get the other headlight today, but I'd almost like to try to take the two headlights loose, or what's left of them, I mean, so that I could, I'm gonna have to do some body work on here. And then I do have to paint the other headlights green anyway. This one actually needs some body work. This one's pulled out. That needs hammered in a little. This one is hammered in and it's pulled out a little. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of creative engineering on some of this stuff. And it may well be that what I need to do is wait until I get, what am I trying to say? I need to wait until I get the hood off the tractor and then take it where I can put a little bit of heat to that and make it come loose, because I just doubt that those are going to play nice. I just have a feeling, don't ask me why, but I just have a feeling that we aren't going to have a good time with getting those loose, but you never know. I don't know if... Oh, those bullets actually pulled loose. I was wondering about that. Will this side follow suit? Yes, it will. But that is so rusty right there. I don't think that that's ever going to turn loose. Let's turn on the... It just doesn't look like that's probably going to work. This one maybe, because we can kind of hold out there farther. But I just don't know if I could save this. I'd like to try to save as much as possible because, like I said, you never know. Parts are going to be impossible to find one day, so anything is better than nothing. I did get a hold of Mrs. Nelson. She's going to try to send me one of these because I need that little nub to screw on the grill to make that happen. I did not know that was a separate piece and had to be ordered separately. So that updates. I'm just trying to think of other stuff. I ordered a generator for it and it's not got here yet. So I looked up the tracking and the delivery company made a note on there that said merchandise not in package. Package was discarded. So apparently the thing fell out of the box somewhere along the way, and then they decided to just throw it away and pretend it never happened. So I don't know. I wasn't able to file a claim and try to get my money back yet because I have to wait till after a certain date to do that, because I guess the electronic bay thinks it's still coming, but if it's not in the box and the box has been thrown away, I would say it's probably not coming anymore. So that's nice how that worked out. Then what else have we? I think we might have almost everything to do the fuel system. We could work on that, except I do want to take this, well, what did I do? Screw it in there? I wanted to take this new line loose. I like how I just put it in there to mock it up, and now it's fighting me. But I want to try to get something for this end. I want to see if this is a size that a guy has on hand, or if this is going to be some kind of funny metric-y thread that I don't have, in which case I'm going to have to get creative on that. Because that line from here to the tank is not available anymore. But I have nothing. All I have is like the banjo bolt and then where they sawed it off. So I could potentially find one off a later parts tractor. But the later ones didn't use a banjo bolt into a tank. They used, I think it had like this type of fitting on the other end. So hosed again, friends. It's always something that just enough to needle you and make you not be able to make progress. So, but now that I got the seat together, I would like to plug on and try to get more of this straightened out, you know. I probably won't get it all cleaned up and painted this year before winter, but it sure would be nice to have it fairly complete, you know, all the pieces hanging on it and running and drivable so that a guy could move it around and do whatever. So let me check my pipe box and see if I can find something that fits in there. It should be just like a compression style thing is what I need, and a piece of tubing. And if I can just make a little piece of tubing, whoop, I'm about to fall over, whoop, falling down, fat man down. If I can just make a little piece of tubing to stick off of this, then I can just use a hose to clamp from what I got right to this, and problem solved. It doesn't, nobody's going to see that. It doesn't have to be a metal line. So yeah, let me go look and see what I can find. All right, it may surprise you to know that I had no luck. However, I think on the internet there is a whole assembly off of a lighter tractor from the injectors and whatever, and it has the little short line. At the very least, it would have at least one of those nuts that I would need to make it. So I guess I'll just bend down and take it, order some more stuff, and get that the way that it should be. Because like I said, that I think is the last piece, isn't it, of the fuel system that I would need. Because I would have from here to here, I'd have the 2 new filters. I have the crossover supply line that goes to the pump, and then the little line that comes up and tees into the return for the injectors, and then I just need something to connect it to the tank. So I would have every piece then that I need, and then that would make this go away. It would make this go away. This thing can go away. This can't go away, I guess, till I get my temperature gauge, because it's, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. Yeah, see, that's the temperature gauge there. That's no longer playing with us. It's long since torched, I think. But what I'm confused about is I didn't know that and I think I answered this the other day when I was looking and then forgot, you know. But there's the temperature sender. I never knew. Okay, that is like that almost feels like a copper tubing or something. I was going to say, I would have guessed the Murphy switch to have an electric setup, but maybe that's more reliable. So yeah, see, that tees in or comes into the back of there. So I can't take that loose till I get the thing to replace it. So until then, all this garbage has to stay on there. I could do the fuel system, and I could do the oil pressure, because I could just take that out and put the sender in. I hope that oil pressure thing, yeah, it's laying there. I got it the other day. It's just one of those deals. I'm thinking real hard about what I want to do here, because it's the end of the day and I'm not real motivated to do much of anything. But I'm thinking about if a guy would just sit in here and tinker a little bit with trying to get those headlights loose. That might be a productive use of time, and just see what we're up against, you know. We may not be able to do it, but that needs to be done eventually, so we might as well start doing it now. I got that muffler. I don't know if I talked about that. It does not want to play nice with this thing coming out of the hood. So now I am stuck between, do I want to try to get a pipe flaring tool and make that a little bit bigger so it slips on there right? Do I want to spend the almost $200 and order from England the factory restoration quality muffler that's supposed to fit this, and then find out it also doesn't fit, and then turn around and order a new elbow to come out of there? I don't know. I don't know yet what I'm going to do, but I don't like that style muffler. It just doesn't look right on these. It needs to be a more foreign style, you know, how they're more rounded. And the one that's supposed to be on here would be rounded on top and bottom. So let's face it, I'll probably spend the money and buy the restoration quality one at some point, and then I'll just use that one on that there, because it doesn't have the right one either. Little things that don't matter, but they matter to me, I guess, because of accuracy, and I don't know, growing up looking at the sales literature of all this stuff, and I like the stuff to look like that, so, or close. So for this side, I'm going to need a vice grip, and then I'm going to need some type of wrench, probably an adjustable, because that's probably a British size. I don't know that for sure, but you know, it does say unified thread on most of it, but these headlights might not be, and they are a different, they're not metric and they're not standard, they're their own thing. So if that's what it is, an adjustable would actually probably be the better choice. So let me grab some stuff and we'll see what happens. Well, as I should have predicted, that wasn't going to work. I'm going to have to heat it. So I think we'll drive it over there and I'll try to gently heat it and let it cool. Plus that gives me an excuse to drive it, see? Try out my new seat. Both sides would not go, so it would be better to just do the thing, you know? The thing, it's in neutral. It hasn't run in a week, so let's see how it cold starts. Instantly. Those little diesels, they're pretty sweet. It's a delicate dance of getting your feet turned around. Oh, this is nice. Comfy. To find a level spot because I don't have a parking brake. Key off. We still have to rig up our battery cutout thing. I am going to have to send away to England for some stuff like tachometer. The ones that you can order here are not quite accurate, I noticed from the pictures. So when we get to that point, I actually already priced some stuff, put it in the old shopping cart, and did the let me get down here first before we talk. Oh, okay, stay put now. I put some stuff in the shopping cart and did the pounds to dollar conversion, only to find out that it's much more expensive going that way. So I have to plan accordingly. I want to order enough where the shipping is worth it, but not go so crazy that I spend as much as I spend on the tractor on parts. So yeah, I'm going to very gingerly try to heat up those nuts hopefully without losing a bunch of paint. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so this happened. It's the first of many times I'll be taking the hood on and off. I wanted to kind of assess my treasure. In addition to, I did do some body work here while it was off and fix the headlight mounting plates and the place where that badge goes. Straightened this up a little bit. I need to probably still, I'll grip that with a vice grip before I put it back on and bend it. But I'm just taking it all in. I've never had the hood all the way off yet. I want to clean that out before I put it back on. They had an old inner tube jammed down in there, which that's great. That keeps the battery nice, but I think I can probably do better than that. And honestly, I don't know why the battery can't just sit on that. I mean, is that going to hurt? Is it that uneven? Maybe it is. Maybe there's a reason. But I'm taking it all in just to see what's what. And one thing becomes apparent. I believe it's ready for a valve cover gasket. So I'm going to have to try to locate on one of those, because this side's pretty bad. It's getting nasty over here. What is that? Oh no, that was my something bad. I know why it did that too. It did that because it's rolling away. Because why wouldn't it roll away, you know? That's why. Hopefully you didn't hurt your little buddy. Hang in there. Brand new. But as I was saying, it's giving me more of a view of things and stuff. And one thing is, the reason my muffler's not working right is because obviously someone has pre-modified this affair. So I think, boy, I don't know if a guy wants to try to get those out or not. It don't look like he'd have a lot of success, does it? So I'm going to be thinking on that one. Do I want to fight and struggle and do whatever and try to get that off? Or do I want to, because I can get this new. I don't know yet. Since I got this out and I got the torch out, I might heat those nuts and see if I can get them broke loose. And if I get them broke loose, why then it can sit indefinitely any amount of time, and I can always get back, take it off later when I get the new one. See what I'm saying? Here's my little nut that I need, and hopefully the little ferrule is still under this hose. I think it is, because I feel a swell. And that little T will clip in there, and then we'll need the little line from up here that I can somehow hook to this. It'd be better if I got you in the frame so you can see what I was pointing at. And then that's gonna do that. So I don't know, it's just interesting. We'll have to figure out how to take the dash off from the fuel tank, I guess, and then I guess you have to take the fuel tank off to get the dash out. And then maybe again I won't even do that. Maybe I'll just take the fuel tank out so I can see behind the dash to get all of this stuff hooked back up. There's a spider, a Mississippi spider, I don't know. But he's fixing to go away, because what I'm gonna do before I put this back on is I am gonna blow the crap out of this and get all that garbage out. Probably should plug the air compressor back in. Ah, the Mississippi mud. Hopefully it'll mesh with my mud and not bring in some sort of infectious disease or something. Yeah, I need to plug the air compressor in. There will be much more cleaning, but this is just kind of a quick knock off some of the big chunks kind of affair, I thought. You know, so that it thinks I care about it. Oh, a big flying creature house. I bet that was up under the hood. We'll let the air compressor catch up. A lot of flaking there. Wonder how much of the frame is left. No, it's pretty thick. Another task we're going to be facing soon is battery cut off. I'm not exactly sure how I want to do that yet. I thought about mounting it over here somewhere and just like using a ground bar to a bolt head to the switch, and then I don't know if I'll do that. It'd be nice if it was somewhere where I could easily get to it. Alternatively, is that the word I want? I could put it in here, but then I'd have to take the grill loose every time to turn the battery on and off, which if I had the original clip and it works, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But we need to definitely, we will be straightening up a lot of this wiring because this is horrendous. I mean, oh, now I broke it off anyway. But I like it when people put way too long wire like that, you know, like it's it's way too long. I don't know. That's broken now, so I should probably just break it off of the other end, but whatever. But this way you can kind of see some green paint, you know, so they obviously painted it without the bonnet on, and then they put it on after the fact. And somebody did, I guess this was blue, somebody painted over it, because right there it looks very blue to me. You know, I think that's more than just green fading. Somebody thought they needed a blue Oliver, I guess. But it's coming along, friends. And there's probably other projects I should be working on right now for other people, but you know, I've already put in like 12 hours today, and I kind of feel like at the end of the day, if I want to play with some of my toys, I'm going to. So everybody else can wait. I mean, I'm going to enjoy my life, is what I'm saying. So tough luck. All right, I decided to conduct an experiment on could I get these loose. I heated them up with the torch, and the answer is yes. After a little bit of persuasion and some heat and some of the good stuff, the old ZEP 45, I managed to. Now the trick is not to screw up the progress by destroying it at the last minute, but I managed to get both of those loose. Interestingly enough, they're two different sizes, and I would say that they probably started out as the same size, and then years of heat cycling has made them different now. So I don't know. But you know what I'm saying. I thought whilst I was here and whilst I had the torch out, why not bust them loose? And then later on, if I get that, I'll just order both pieces and put her back to factory. Interestingly enough, I don't know that I've ever really looked this close at one of these, but looks like they had some lifting points in mind there with a couple double-ended head studs there. So that's interesting. Just some stuff, you know, that you just don't see every day because these things aren't over here all the time. But yeah, I think I've done about all tonight that I'm going to do. So I'm just going to put the hood back on, drive it in the shed, and be done with it. I might, let me get the hood on him here in a minute, and then we'll see if that's all I do or if I do anything else. The sun's about down, and then it'll be too dark to film, so yeah. All right, it's the next day. Got too dark last night, but check out this cutie. I got the headlights temporarily on there just to see how that would go. I got the badge. I'm working on trying to get it screwed in there. It's still not quite, I don't think I have the hood quite bent right yet, but we'll get that. I've got this. You can't leave this on there because I don't have that piece yet, but that'll hold on there, and then we'll have something I could probably also re-sand this and do a little bit better, because that really sucks that it fell in the dirt, but that's life. But yeah, I think we made her a little bit more better again. We're just gonna tinker with it a little at a time and try to make it the best that we can. So that being said, I think we're gonna call this one here, and you know, we will press on and try to get stuff more the way that it should be. But we accomplished something, at least, you know. I kind of know where we're headed now, and I've got almost all the pieces I need gathered so that sometime we can really hit this project hard and put it the way it should be. So until that time comes, I think I'm going to leave this one here. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.